was going to get on the computer and do some work. But if you can hear me, put a 1 in the comment. Let me know that you can hear me, a 1 in the chat, so I can know that you can hear me. So I want to tell you about something that happened on Saturday. As you know, I went to the Black Authors Rock event because my book was nominated. You can hear me, put a 1 in the comment. Hey Raven! So as you know, I was at Black Authors Rock this weekend because my book was nominated for an award, and I actually didn't know until I was called on stage that I was one of the finalists. I was one of the 5 finalists, but I did not win, but I still won. I got a nomination for, so for me, it's still a win. I don't see anything as a loss, especially when you're trying. So it's still a win regardless. I had such an amazing time. Charlie and me were there, no kids. So that was great. Hey, Brianka. So that was really good. I'm going to post some more pictures. So if y'all follow me, which I know you too, you see them in the stories all weekend. I'm probably going to post some more soon. And if you're coming in, say hey. And so with my couples that I work with, and even here, I'm very transparent. I'm transparent. I'm not going to say very, but I am transparent. Hey, Katrina. Thank you. I am transparent because one of the reasons why I started coaching, or I'm not going to say one of the reasons why I started coaching, my coaching doesn't come from experience as a therapist, because therapist and coaching is 2 different things. It really comes from my growth as a wife, combined with a little bit of knowledge, but mainly my growth as a woman and as a wife, and why I can teach it to others, because a lot of times I was the poor communicator. I was the one that did not have very effective boundaries. Now they are boom boom, I don't play. So I like to give stories about my own life, so it can be helpful to you, because even me being married for almost 14 years, definitely still a work in progress. To some who's been married 30 years, 14 years is nothing. For those who've been married 5 years, 14 years is a long time. So it'll be 14 years in May. But I have a conversation with Charlie this weekend, and he told me that when we go out, I never introduce him to people. When he said that, I was like, oh. And it made him feel a type of way that I was kind of pushing him in the background. And it's never my intent. And I'm going to tell you why. 1, I move too fast. I move really fast. Number 1. And my mind just kind of moves so fast, I don't think about it. Number 2, I really talk about Charlie so much to people that I have yet to meet. So when he's finally seeing them for the first time, is that they already know who he is. Because I always talk about Charlie, how great he is, how supportive he is of, my career, whether it's, the coaching, whether it's the therapy, or whether it's the workbooks, or whatever I do, he's always fully supportive of me and all of my transitions since we've been married. So whenever I talk to someone who I have yet to meet, I always tell them about Charlie and how I am so grateful and appreciative of being with someone who's never asked me to change, and that supports me through. This is what happens when you just don't moisturize today. Get up at 5 and leave, and it's real cold outside. I'm just like, I got a whole beard. It's so dry. But this is what happens. I tell them that is how supportive he is. So when he sees them for the first time, in my mind, it's not like he's seeing them for the first time. It's like they already know you. So they see him like, oh, Charlie. But I never slowed down to introduce him. And I told him, that was my bad. And so I wanted to, come on and just kind of talk about that for Marriage Maintenance Monday. That make sure you just be mindful of the very small things that can turn into big things. To me, I never saw that as a problem. Because like I said, everybody I talk about Charlie. So everybody that sees him, they know him, but he doesn't know them. So I never thought about it until he brought it to my attention. and I told him it wasn't my intention to do that. But I'm going to correct it from now on. So just for, Marriage Maintenance Monday, make sure you are really and fully paying attention to your partner, paying attention to those very small things. And even for you, if your partner is missing those very small details, tell them they're missing the small details. Because if Charlie would have never told me that at the next spot, in the next event, I probably would not introduce him, because like I said, my mind goes so fast that, and it was some people I walked up to this weekend, hell, I didn't introduce myself. I was like, hey girl. Even though we had met in person, we met, in these online spaces. They were like, hey girl, give me a hug. And one of Alexis, she's in a group, and she was like, oh, it's Charlie. So, she knew him, and, all these things, and, Dr. LaTracy and Kiani, they all know Charlie, but Charlie didn't know them. So I felt in my mind that I had already introduced him, because I always talk about him. And I understand how he feels, because when we first got married, even before we got married, I was always, Charlie King's wife. Like Belinda, she's in the group. And we have other friends that were Charlie's best friends. I was always, like the wife. Even though he introduced me, it was always kind of like that, plus one. It's like that when you're a military spouse. Disregard the fact that I was in the military too. But it's like that, when you're in those spaces in the military, you're always so-and-so's spouse and not Kasey, not, Bianca, not Katrina. And, and so on and so on. Oh, that's Kasey's wife, and so now I had to sit back and think about that. And I don't want him to be, oh, that's Kasey's husband, because I never formally introduced him. And that's also a sign of respect. And so that let me know, slow down. And when you're walking in the spaces, just because they know you, and because they may know him, he does not know them. So be mindful of that and introduce him. So that's something I kind of learned this weekend, because we all have our struggles and our pitfalls. And I learned, that this weekend I got to be a little more mindful of that. Bianca, you said you're guilty of doing that too. So you're guilty of kind of like disregarding a little bit. Just kind of walking in and not introducing your partner and all that kind of stuff. So, and when he said that, I felt bad. I really felt bad, because it's not my intention, but I am so glad that he told me. I wish he would have told me sooner, because I didn't realize I was doing this for, I guess, however long, year, past 2 years. Yeah, because they know of her. And I talk about him all the time, even to, like I said, the people that he never meets. When they walk in the room, they know Kasey, and that must be Charlie. So it's never Kasey's husband, because I talk about him to literally everybody that will listen. So, but it made me, realize that's something I have to do better, and work on. And so even when you think that, your relationship is great, things are going great, it's sometimes those very small details that we don't pay attention to. So make sure you're mindful of that. Just the very small things. Hey, Jasmine. Jasmine, I'm going to message you shortly. But make sure you're mindful of just those very small, details that can make your partner feel small. And I don't like feel small. That make them feel disregarded. Make them feel unimportant. That make them feel not respected. That make them feel as if they don't matter. Because even though it may not be our intention to do that, that's exactly what we're doing. We're not giving them their own platform. And I know what it's like to be Charlie King's wife. I don't want him to ever walk in the room, because now our roles are reversing as he's transitioning out in the military I'm transitioning more into bigger spaces and speaking and events and things like that. I don't ever want him to walk into a space and feel like, oh, that's Kasey King's husband, because he's not. He's Charlie King. So pay attention to those small things, because they can turn into big things. And you don't want to have your partner, especially when your partner is so fully supportive of you, you don't want them to feel like they are not important. My son is shaking the car. That's not me, that's him. I don't know what he's doing back there. Oh, he's back there. Yeah. So you don't want to, hey Judith. Judith, I love your basket. Thank you so much. I tried to stuff everything in my suitcase. So thank you so much for coming. Judith came out, y'all. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad to see you. I was so glad to see you. I wish you could have more time together. But I'll be coming home soon. Maybe on the 17th. I don't know. So that's what I wanted to say. Make sure even in those spaces where it's for us and not for our spouse, it's still for your spouse. Make sure you introduce your spouse. Make sure, they feel that they are there with you. They're not your shadow. They're not just your plus one. That you are one. So that's all I have. I hope you had a good weekend. A part of me wanted to do more in the group, but a big part of me didn't, because I was my husband and we hadn't been together in maybe 2 months. So, hey. But I hope y'all had a really great weekend. Rediscovering You, if you have not signed up for that yet, you want to sign up for Rediscovering You for 12 weeks. I think I said January 1, the price is going to go up. So if you don't want to catch this very inexpensive price, oh my God, you better catch it now. When I say inexpensive, it is literally under 4 figures. So it's not expensive at all. Like, it's really, really low. So if you are interested in Rediscovering You, put a 2 in the chat or just message me, let me know. I do have payment plans available. We will be starting next week. So if that's you and you're ready, let me know. But yeah, Layla's thing's about to start at 5:30. So I'm going to go in and get me and Carlos some seats. So y'all have an amazing day. Hey Belinda. Y'all, remember I said about Charlie King wife? That's what Belinda used to call me, Charlie King wife. So yeah, y'all have, Belinda, I'll be coming to Gulfport soon too. I got to pick up the date. But I think you'll be in here. Not up here, but in Texas in a couple of weeks. So I'll see you. But yeah, y'all have a good day. Rediscovering You. If you have not registered for that, you need to register now, or you message me and let me know so I can register you and put you on the payment plan schedule, unless you want to pay in full. Usually I'll charge interest for payment plans. I'm not doing it this time, so it's whatever. We're just going to divide the thing all up. I'm not doing that. So y'all have a good day. I'm glad to be back, and I will see y'all soon.